What's up, guys? I'm leaving work right now, and after last week's video covering the Roman Reigns suspension, I looked at it, I kind of like this style. You know, I said I wasn't going to be uploading a video this summer, but I think I'll continue with this style of a sort of breaking news thing just on my drive home from work. Just if anything happens during the day, I'll report on it. Last week there was an announcement that Daniel Bryan and Mauro Ranallo were commentating the Cruiserweight Classic, which I thought about making a video about, but there just wasn't enough to talk about. But so yeah, that seems like a good idea. I'll talk about that briefly right now. I like it. Mauro Ranallo has really given SmackDown some life, makes the matches feel important. So he'll really he'll make the Cruiserweight Classic feel special. And then also having Daniel Bryan by his side. I saw a video this past weekend when they were doing the introductions to all the superstars, or I should call them superstars, all the cruiserweights. Daniel Bryan, you could just tell he's a fan. He's just excited to watch this. He's just a fan of all the different styles of pro wrestling and all the different nations, and he's wrestled some of these guys across the world, and you can tell that he's excited. He's got that experience factor, being a smaller guy, but winning the main event of WrestleMania 30. So I'm excited to watch the Cruiserweight Classic, especially with those two voicing it. I think that's perfect. But for the bigger news, today was the reveal of the WWE 2k17 cover. And the star of that cover is Brock Lesnar. Perfect choice. I thought about it when they, well, just in terms of speculating who the cover is going to be, you know, with no information revealed whatsoever. Good people throwing out names like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, now Dean Ambrose since he's the champion. John Cena was not last year, but 2 years ago. And Brock Lesnar was thrown in there. Maybe you have a Shield cover. Maybe you have a multi-star cover. Maybe you get Sasha Banks and Charlotte on the cover and get some females on there. And just have multiple faces. Maybe you get Finn Balor on there. You get Roman Reigns, Charlotte, and Finn Balor. You get the guy, the woman, and the guy of NXT. But it ultimately is Brock Lesnar, and that's who I expected it to be, mostly just because, you know, regardless of what WWE wants to do, you know, they're pushing this new era. 2K is not pushing the new era. 2K has the tendency, or has had the tendency so far, to do these big names, these big, not superstars, but these big megastars. Roman Reigns isn't a megastar. WWE wants him to be, but he's not yet. 2K14, The Rock. 2K15, Cena. 2K16, Stone Cold. Who else can you throw up there with those names? Undertaker, Triple H, or a more relevant name like Brock Lesnar. This also pushes his upcoming UFC fight at UFC 200 against Mark Hunt. And he's also going to be appearing at SummerSlam, probably vying for that WWE World Heavyweight Championship. There was also I think they called it a State of the Union address, featuring Paul Heyman answering questions from, you know, news reporters to YouTubers and everything in between. Just like sort of a conference call that happened last Friday, and they released it today. Paul Heyman talked about UFC, he talked about the video game, talked about Brock Lesnar and how he's a farm boy, and he does this to make money so he can buy more farmland. You know, he wants to be, and he's competitive, and he wants to be the top guy and stay at the top. And once he can't be at the top, he will walk away and just sit on his farm. But in the meantime, he's the star of 2K17, not 2K16. He will be at SummerSlam. Regardless of how his UFC fight goes, he will be at SummerSlam. Paul Heyman was saying, I don't know how Vince McMahon feels about this. I wasn't there for that conversation. I don't know how WWE feels about it. I don't know how they plan on writing him into the storylines. I don't know how they plan on dealing with him potentially getting injured in the fight. But Paul was able to just answer some questions that were more general. He did say that he has done voiceovers for 2K17. Can't really say more than that, but there was someone who asked the question about the Paul Heyman guy mode. You got Brock Lesnar as the Paul Heyman guy. You've had RVD, Big Show, CM Punk, we're all Paul Heyman guys, but Paul Heyman said he is the real-life and on-screen advocate for Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar prefers that Paul Heyman is exclusive to Brock Lesnar, and Paul Heyman would love to honor that and stick by that. So in terms of getting a new Paul Heyman guy, or being a general manager, or being on the writing staff, he says that's not the place for him. His place is being paired up with Brock Lesnar as his mouthpiece, as his advocate. And someone asked him about the draft. What if you guys get split up in the draft? Paul Heyman said, I don't think that I will be subject to the... He doesn't know, but he says, I don't think I will be subject to the draft. I don't think I can get drafted one way or the other. I'm not a performer. I'm not a wrestler. You know, I'm not a commentator or anything. I'm Brock Lesnar's guy. Brock Lesnar in itself is an entity, and I am part of that entity of Brock Lesnar. So wherever Brock Lesnar goes, one would think I would go as well. But so in terms of lending his voice to the game, someone had asked if there would be a Paul Heyman guy mode, and Paul Heyman was like, yo, there better be a Paul Heyman guy mode. There should be a Paul Heyman guy mode in WWE 2k17. And he said, and I will say this, without revealing too much, and I feel like some people from like the YouTube videos I've seen and glossed over so far, I feel like people are glossing over this and sort of making light of this, but Paul Heyman said he recorded 2 hours of lines talking to the player at home about being a Paul Heyman guy. 2 hours is a lot of time to be recording your voice. He said he hopes that there's a Brock Lesnar showcase mode. Someone else had asked that. He said there better be a Brock Lesnar showcase mode. There should be a Brock Lesnar showcase mode. There should be a Paul Heyman guy mode. But he doesn't know. All he knows is that he's recorded lines talking to the player about being a Paul Heyman guy. So I really think that stands out. Like, that is a thing. Like, you can't just say, oh, he's just recorded lines. Maybe it's just like being a manager. Like, you can hear his voice when he's in the manager spot or something. But there's got to be a mode centered around Brock Lesnar. There has to be. Whether it's a showcase mode, whether it's a Paul Heyman guy mode, whether it's a Defeat the Beast mode. They had Defeat the Streak, maybe now it's a Defeat the Beast mode. Or maybe my career gets morphed into this Paul Heyman guy mode. Some people were saying that, like how, or I think even Paul Heyman had mentioned that. You had NBA go from this, no, it wasn't Paul Heyman, this was another video I'd watched. You had NBA go from just sort of a general career mode, like you just played out as a player, and then they did the Spike Lee joint collaboration, and it just made it different, you know? I never played the Spike, I have NBA 2k16, but I never played the Spike Lee career mode thing, whatever that is. So, I don't know, but Paul Heyman said, or someone said that this Paul Heyman thing could be like that, where now it's a My Career mode, but centered around Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's guiding you, maybe from the Indies or NXT all the way up to main event status. Maybe Paul Heyman betrays you to have you fight Brock Lesnar. Whatever it is, Brock Lesnar is the cover star for 2k17. Paul Heyman has lent his voice to the video game. Brock Lesnar is a confirmed superstar for the game. Paul Heyman is confirmed to be in the game in one form or another. So we'll see where that goes. I'm excited as more and more news comes out about the game. I've already pre-ordered it. I noticed when I was reading on articles earlier this morning, it was like 20% off on Amazon. And if the price drops even more, you'll be compensated. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm not going to pay $60 if I can pay $45, I think it was. I'm like, yeah, I pre-ordered it. You know, I'd probably pre-order it anyways, but I was just waiting, and I just went through with it. Pre-ordered it, it'll get shipped, I'll have it day one. And yeah, so that's fun. I'm looking forward to that. I'll reveal more on that later. But for now, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head any other stories that are going on. Roman Reigns is suspended, but he's still being booked for that triple threat match at Battleground. That's something I have to correct myself from last video. I did in the comments section, but his 30-day suspension ends 3 days before Battleground itself, so he's still being advertised for the match. It's funny that they're still advertising him on TV and still acknowledging him despite him being suspended. They haven't said on TV that he's suspended, but I don't know, I found that weird. Other than that, some people were saying that I think that there's a report from WWE saying, we found out Tuesday, we suspended him on Tuesday. And then there are guys like Pro Wrestling Insider and Pro Wrestling Torch and whatever all that is, Dave Meltzer, they're all reporting that WWE knew about the wellness policy violation before Money in the Bank. And they went through with the Money in the Bank match. Maybe they changed the finish to have Dean Ambrose cash in and take the title off Roman, have Seth go over clean because Roman had violated the policy. Roman had never lost clean before that. Seth Rollins was the first man to pin Roman Reigns clean in a one-on-one match. So whether that was as a result of the violation or not is only speculation. Other than that, we have the draft around the corner. Paul Heyman mentioned NXT stars being called up for the draft. He didn't say how many, he just said he expects it to, and he says the other guys in NXT should be it's a win-win for NXT superstars, because you're either getting called up to the main roster and you're getting that bigger stage, that bigger spotlight, which is why you're in the wrestling company, why you're in the business of professional wrestling to begin with. Or you're in NXT, you're not getting called up, but now you have an opportunity to get pushed to the top of NXT. With the amount of popularity that NXT has, that is a great thing. Especially since they sold out the Barclays Center in, I think, less than an hour for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. So that's all I can think of for the current WWE news. Like I said, this is just going to be a daily sort of rambling, uncut thing as I leave work. Just if any news stories come out, I'll do a video. If there's nothing really to report on, I won't do a video. A lot of this... So the cover reveal was today. Maybe they'll show it on Raw, but they announced it this morning. So my channel's not dead for the summer. This is what I'll be doing. Just driving home from work, talking, rambling, uncut. Not too much editing. But come the fall, I think I've said this, the channel will be revamped. It'll be nice and polished. Nice. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Click that thumbs up button. Subscribe for more content, and I will see you guys whenever there's more news to report.